There are so many wonderful destinations just waiting to be explored right outside your back door.
We will travel to uncover the people, places, and products that give our region its unique heritage. On our journey, you're likely to learn something new or find a new favorite, all while having a lot of fun in the process.
Not only will you get to join me on these virtual adventures,
but you'll also get your very own local guide who will teach you how to go local right where you live. So whether you decide to travel to a nearby city or stay in your very own town,
you'll learn how to become a local traveler.
Coming up on The Local Traveler, we tour 2 museums in Sevierville dedicated to transportation vehicles. We start our tour at the Tennessee Aviation Museum, where we see some rare and unique aircraft. Next, we head over to see some notable and exciting classic cars at Floyd Garrett's Muscle Car Museum. So don't miss this episode for all things that go. It's coming up on The Local Traveler. Buckle up, because today we're going on an airplane and automobile adventure. In Sevierville, Tennessee, you can create your own transportation museum tour. Located just 2 miles apart on Dolly Parton Parkway, exists 2 facilities dedicated to different vehicle types. So start your engines. We're learning more about warbirds and muscle cars.
We start our transportation tour today at a museum that would delight any aviation or history buff. Let's go check it out.
The Tennessee Museum of Aviation, a 50,000 square foot facility, is dedicated to airworthy warbirds. This living museum rotates exhibits and aircraft frequently, so no matter when you visit, you're sure to find something new to discover and enjoy. The museum is divided into 3 sections: historic artifacts, a 35,000 square foot airplane hangar, and an exhibit gallery. Volunteer docents, many of whom have personal connections to aviation, are available to assist visitors on a tour through the museum.
I'm here with Don Campbell, and he is a volunteer tour guide at the Tennessee Museum of Aviation. Thanks so much for having us here today.
Hey, you're quite welcome. We're very proud of our museum and glad you guys could come.
This is quite impressive. It's very large. I had no idea there was so much here.
Well, we've actually got 50,000 square feet of space here, and it actually opened in 2001, and it's been very active ever since.
That's true, and that's something really notable about this Museum of Aviation is that these planes really are active. I mean, there are people that actually do flight demonstrations with them.
Right, we've got Neil, the owner of the museum, and John. They both got P-47 Thunderbolts. They go out and they do air shows and they do reunions, and it's really great to actually see these things fly.
That's amazing. Well, and you have a lot of personal experience with aircraft. You served for us.
Yes, I actually spent 21 years in the Air Force and had a great time. I graduated from college, went through pilot training, and did 21 years flying airplanes. Got to fly a single-seat jet fighter, and spent 1 year in Vietnam. That wasn't a really good time, but other than that, I had a real good time. 21 years.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
You must see a lot of other veterans that come through these doors.
Well, we do. In fact, most of the volunteers here are retired and also have some type of military service. And also we meet a lot of veterans that come through here. World War II veterans that are in their 90s, and then people from the Korean War and the Vietnam War. They've got great stories to tell, and so we build up a little rapport as we're going through and showing them the museum.
Sure. Well, and I guess that's another reason why it's a living history museum, because every day a new person with a new story and a new connection to one of these aircraft could walk through.
Absolutely. To get to meet these people and listen to their stories, that's one of the good things about being a volunteer.
Sure. Well, and also a lot of school children probably too, right, on the other end, who are maybe dreaming of one day being able to serve.
Yeah, we have all kinds of groups come here, from little small Bible school kids, high school kids, senior citizens group. Last year I had a group of Bible school kids come through. They were probably age 5 to 7. They didn't know a lot about, wars and things like that. At the end of the tour, a little 5-year-old girl came up to me and she looked up and says, "Are you a veteran?" And I says, "Yes." And she says, "Were you in a war?" And I said, "Yes." And this little kid hugged my leg and said, "Thank you." Oh, almost brought tears to my eyes,
Oh
but
my gosh.
all kinds of experiences like that. But that was unique.
That's wonderful. I'm excited. Would you take me on a tour?
Oh, be glad to show you what's going on.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
A treat at the Tennessee Aviation Museum is getting to reminisce with veterans willing to share their memories and pass them on to the next generation. Another treat is the opportunity to see a Thunderbolt. The Tennessee Museum of Aviation is said to be the only place in the country to house 2 airworthy P-47 Thunderbolts. There are less than a dozen World War II Thunderbolts currently flying in the world. In addition to show-stopping aircraft like the Douglas A-1H Sky Raider that's actually been in combat situations in Vietnam, this museum also has some notable historical aviation artifacts and patriotic memorabilia.
Amy, this is our pride and joy. This is an A-1 Sky Raider. It was built in the 40s and the 50s, and this particular airplane served in Vietnam. And some of the people that come through the museum, veterans, have flown this airplane. It's got folding wings because it was built to be a Navy airplane, to be on carriers where they would have more room. And I just love to see it fly. It actually can carry more weapons and a bigger load than a World War II 4-engine B-17. You can tell by all the little stubs on the wings that's where they would carry ordnance. But this is our pride and joy, and we just love to get out and show this thing off. There's only 2 Sky Raider H models, the single seat models in the United States. Neil has one here at Sevierville, and I believe the other one's out in California, but that really makes it rare.
It's a beauty.
Amy, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this P-47 Thunderbolt. This is a World War II propeller-driven fighter airplane that was used both in the European theater and also over in the Pacific theater. It was used primarily for close air support of our troops on the ground, and also an anti-tank airplane. Also, it would be used to escort B-17s and B-24s bombers over enemy territory. But these are really unique airplanes, and we just love to see these fly. We've got 2 of these. One's over being worked on right now, but both of them get out and they do air shows and reunions. Both of them were built in Evansville, Indiana, actually within a few days of each other, so they're kind of like brothers. But as you can tell, it's just a unique airplane. As far as we know, there's only about 8 or 10 of these in the world that are flying, and we have 2 of them here at the Tennessee Museum of Aviation, and we're really proud of them.
The Tennessee Museum of Aviation wonderfully champions Tennessee's roots in the aviation industry. They even have a Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame to preserve and enshrine those who have made significant contributions to aeronautics. Regardless if you call yourself a Tennessean or not, you'll find the sky's the limit here. Coming up after the break, we fly from Pearl Harbor in the 1940s to the popularity of muscle cars in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's all coming up on The Local Traveler. Today, we're on an airplane and automobile adventure. We created our very own transportation tour in Sevierville, Tennessee. Our first stop was at the Tennessee Museum of Aviation, where we saw rare thunderbolts, among other notable warbirds and aviation artifacts. Our next stop, just 2 miles down Dolly Parton Parkway, is Floyd Garrett's Muscle Car Museum. This impressive collection of American-made cars is the largest in the nation and displays 90 cars worth over $8 million. Nationally known muscle car expert Floyd Garrett has over 40 years of hands-on experience and is an authority in 60s and 70s high-performance automobiles. Floyd began his vintage muscle car collection in 1975 when he purchased a black '70s Chevelle, and he's been adding to the collection ever since.
I'm here with Floyd Garrett, and he's the owner of Floyd Garrett Muscle Car Museum here in Sevierville. This place is very impressive.
Well, thank you. We try to keep some pretty good cars.
You really do. Tell me how you got into this. I know you kind of collected.
Well, Amy, I worked at a service station when I was a kid in high school, and I just developed a passion for cars. And after I got out of high school, I went into the dump truck business, and I made some money with it, and so I started collecting cars. And then I thought one or two I'd get, then I ended up with 64 cars when I opened the museum.
My goodness. Well, and you're a collector at heart, I can tell, because even walking in the museum, you see lots of other little mini collections.
Oh yeah, I like all nostalgia stuff mostly.
Well, and you started, I think I read, with a '70s Chevelle?
Yeah, after I started collecting cars, I wanted a '70 LS6 Chevelle, 454, 450 horse.
Oh my goodness. Well, tell me, what makes muscle cars and what makes this so distinctive and unique?
Well, muscle cars is a car that come mostly from the factory with a big engine and high horsepower. And most of the time they were limited numbers, like a black '62 Pontiac Super Duty. They didn't make but 200 of them. And some cars in here, they just, '63 Chevrolet down there, Z11, they didn't make but 55 of those. And it was special for drag racing purposes only.
Well, now what draws you to kind of muscle cars? Is it the nostalgia with the era, or is it just the performance of the vehicle?
Mostly performance to me, because when I was a kid, if it'd spin a wheel, I wanted it.
When people come here, what can they expect to find?
They can expect to find some of the rarest muscle cars there is.
Are they blown away by the things that they see here?
Oh yeah, yes, they are.
Do you have any favorites, or is that kind of like picking a favorite child?
Well, I'm a diehard GM man, so I mostly like Chevrolets and Pontiacs.
Okay, good. Well, do you think you might be able to take me around and show me a couple?
Yes, I will.
Awesome.
From die-hard vintage car collectors to classic car newbies, Floyd Garrett's Muscle Car Museum has something for everyone. The cars here rotate, which allow visitors to discover something new each and every time they visit. You might see a '69 Camaro. You could even see a 1957 Chevy convertible driven by Joe Lee Johnson, who won NASCAR's 1959 National Convertible Championship. There are all kinds of hot rods displayed, from factory race cars to celebrity-owned automobiles. You'll definitely see a wide selection here.
So Floyd, I see you brought me over here to a 1962 Pontiac.
Yes, that's a very rare car. The front bumpers, the front fenders, and the hood is all aluminum, for drag racing purposes only. It's got a 421 cubic inch engine with 2 4-barrels.
Wow. What would someone typically drive this for? Would it be drag racing, or was it just, it looks a little bit more like...
It's drag racing purposes only. In
Okay.
NASCAR, you couldn't run aluminum front ends on them.
Well, do you have another one to show me here?
Yes, I got a '63 Chevrolet I'll show you.
All right, sounds good. Well, it looks like you brought me here to the original Jack May Z11 car.
Yes, that was a well-known car running out of North Carolina from Sock Sinclair. It's a special car, Amy. It's got aluminum front end, aluminum bumpers, aluminum hood, and a 427 cubic inch engine with 2 4-barrels.
How rare is a car like this?
One of 55 made.
Wow.
In 1963, Chevrolet was building these for drag racing purposes, and then they pulled the plug on racing and they quit building them.
Now this says it's maintained by Larry and Ronnie. What do they do for the maintaining process?
Well, build the engines and just set the thing up for drag racing.
Okay, so do these still work? I mean, you could
Oh yeah.
you could roll out of here and
Oh yeah, that car, they drove it in here.
Oh wow. Well, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for taking me around.
It's my pleasure, believe me. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
The museum not only features an incredibly rare and unusual muscle car collection, but also over 5,000 museum treasures and a 6,000 square foot gift shop.
What an exciting adventure of airplanes and automobiles we've had today in Sevierville, Tennessee. Here at Floyd Garrett's Muscle Car Museum and nearby at Tennessee Museum of Aviation, this is a transportation tour that you can recreate for yourself. Make sure and add it to your local travelers list.
A wonderful vacation spot tucked away in the mountains of East Tennessee, Sevierville offers a wide range of attractions, plus plenty of delicious dining and splendid shopping. With a celebrity endorsement and activities found nowhere else, Sevierville makes a great destination for almost any occasion. Don't miss this episode where we get our fill of apple cider and hidden mountains. It's all coming up on The Local Traveler. To learn more about the show, please visit us online at localtraveler.com. Have you missed any of our local travels? Well, never fear. Head over to our YouTube page where you can catch up on past episodes or watch your favorites again. We're hitting the road and traveling to Eastern Tennessee and Eastern Kentucky next, and we want your suggestions on where to go. Like us on Facebook and post your suggestions. If we pick your spot, we'll invite you on set to meet the Local Traveler crew, and you may even appear on the show.